Welcome back to the channel, hockey fans. Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a hockey man. I like to talk. In today's video, we will take a look at the tragic life of NHL enforcer Derek Boogaard. Born on June 23, 1982 in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Boogaard's imposing presence on the ice earned him the nickname the Boogeyman. His career, marked by physical play and fighting prowess, made him a fan favorite and a respected figure among his peers. Boogaard was an extremely intimidating player. At 6 foot 7 inches and weighing 265 pounds. He broke into the NHL in 2005 with the Minnesota Wild, where he played left wing for 5 seasons. He then joined the New York Rangers for 22 games in 2010-11 to close out his NHL career. He earned the nicknames Boogeyman and the Mountie, referring to his father, Len Boogaard, who was an officer with the RCMP. Astonishingly, Derek was the target of bullying because of his size. At age 15, he stood 6 foot 4 inches tall and weighed 210 pounds. Derek was known as a gentle giant. He didn't go out of his way to look for trouble, but was decisive when finding it. Case in point, while playing for the Melfort Mustangs and trailing badly in the game, Boogaard uncharacteristically went berserk. He lunged onto the opposition's bench and began fighting. Boogaard was ejected from the game. Ironically, this incident drew the attention of scouts from the Regina Pats of the Western Hockey League. They were so impressed by his aggressive behavior that they offered him a chance to play for them, which brought him one step closer to the NHL. In his first practice with the Pats, Boogaard was challenged by another imposing player. Derek broke his nose with one punch. After bouncing around the WHL and playing for several teams, Boogaard realized that because of his size, the teams valued that as his greatest asset, something he wasn't entirely comfortable with as he was a reluctant fighter. Boogaard struggled mightily in his WHL career. At one point, he was so disillusioned that he considered quitting hockey. Boogaard was reinvigorated after scoring his first playoff goal with the Prince George Cougars. After the season, the Minnesota Wild drafted Boogaard in the 7th round of the 2001 NHL entry draft. Fast forward to the 2005-06 NHL season. Boogaard made his NHL debut on October 5, 2006 in a game against the Calgary Flames. Within his first week, he scored his first goal, assist, and first NHL fight, knocking Anaheim Ducks Kip Brennan to the ice. One notable incident in 2006-07 happened in a game against Anaheim when Boogaard broke the cheekbone of Todd Fedoruk so severely that he had to have it surgically repaired with metal plates and mesh. Some of Boogaard's most memorable moments came against the Anaheim Ducks. In his first playoffs, near the end of the game, having not played at all that game, Coach Jacques Lemaire sent Boogaard out onto the ice after the crowd had begun to chant his name. Boogaard skated in front of the Anaheim bench and smiled, eliciting a thunderous roar from the crowd. Boogaard began taking Percocet, a pain relief medication used to help him after 2 surgeries he had during the season. His brother Aaron recalled that he'd go through 30 pills in a couple of days. He'd need 8 to 10 at a time to feel okay. It was during this time that Boogaard became addicted to drugs. He was taking 11 different prescriptions from 8 different doctors. It was so bad that his brother Aaron would often hide the pills from him. It also began to affect his hockey career, as he missed training camp for the 2009-10 season. Friends, teammates, coaches, and family said that while Boogaard's play had not changed, his personality had. He was just kind of a blank face, recalled John Scott. He fell asleep at odd times and was late for meetings and workouts. The team warned other players not to share their prescription medicines with him. After 5 seasons with the Wild, Boogaard was dealt to the New York Rangers, where he signed for $6.5 million over 4 years. Initially, the Rangers were concerned when Boogaard showed up for camp weighing 300 pounds, 60 pounds over his official weight. The fears were put to rest early in the season, when he scored his first assist against the Maple Leafs and his first goal in a later game against the Capitals, ending a 234-game goalless drought. He followed that up with successful fights against Philadelphia Flyers tough guy Jody Shelley. In a home game against the Edmonton Oilers, he had 2 fights against Steve McIntyre, winning the first one and breaking his nose in the second fight. 1 month later, in a fight against Matt Carkner of the Ottawa Senators, Boogaard suffered a season-ending concussion. Boogaard became reclusive after his concussion. His personality grew darker, and he became increasingly lonely. Friends stopped coming to see him, and in an effort to fill the void, he ran up a 222-page cell phone bill for February 2011. The few who did come to see him were taken aback at how dark his personality had become and the lack of care he took of himself. After attempting to get back into the Rangers lineup, he collapsed during light workouts in March. The Rangers sent him back to California for rehab. While there, he racked up tens of thousands of dollars in lavish expenses. On May 12, 2011, after spending a night out with friends and consuming several mixed drinks and oxycodone, Derek Boogaard was found dead in his apartment later the next afternoon by his brother Aaron, who found him unresponsive. Firefighters who responded first declared him dead at the scene. An autopsy found that the cause of Boogaard's death was an accidental overdose of alcohol and oxycodone. The coroner said with that mixture, he probably died as soon as he closed his eyes, said Aaron. His family subsequently agreed to donate his brain to the Sports Legacy Institute at Boston University Medical School, which studies athletes' brains in high-contact sports. The SLI is especially interested in the degenerative brain condition chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which can only be diagnosed after death. Boogaard's death raised concerns over the NHL's attitude toward concussion protocol. In the following months, more concerns were raised after two more enforcers lost their lives. Rick Ripien of the Vancouver Canucks took his own life after suffering from depression, and Wade Belak of the Nashville Predators also suffered from depression. His death was treated as a suicide, but the family called it accidental. All three of these players were diagnosed with chronic traumatic encephalopathy, a neurodegenerative disease linked to repeated head trauma. Derek Boogaard was a gentle giant who only wanted to play hockey, the game that he loved. Because of his size, he was pigeonholed into the role of enforcer, a stressful and dangerous job. His story is more about his apparent struggle with depression and addiction to prescription drugs that left him isolated and vulnerable than it is about a hockey career. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, it's essential to know that help is available. Remember, reaching out for help is a courageous first step toward recovery. Hey hockey fans, if you like this content, please hit that subscribe button. You can also follow my blog at https://tedtalkshockey.com, and remember to keep your stick on the ice.
Thanks for watching.